live. Hello. Welcome. I'm late but early, I guess. Welcome to Movie Crap Live. How is it going? Let's start the song over. How is it going tonight? I'm glad everyone is here. I want to make sure I am okay. Jewelers. Yes, for Mother's Day. That's not disturbing. Hold on. Oh, whoa. Alright. Yes, hold on. Let me send out the things. It was a bit of a crazy night. I made dinner. I did. Bathed 2 kids, everything. Alright. Hello to Cornbread, Purple Goop, Javier Portello, Super Dusky, Jordan Salaflo, Nathaniel Foga, Austin, who I don't see right now, but I'm sure is here, and anyone else watching, listening, all that wonderful stuff. Let us thank you, Cornbread, for reminding me. Regardless, it is very helpful. I'm hot in the kitchen. I don't know. Hot in the kitchen. Whatever, that is where we are tonight. Wow, what an interesting week. This is going to be an interesting show. We're going to be bopping all over the place in terms of subject matters and things. Hello, pup. And in terms of everything like that. Where did my script go? Anyway, I'll just keep yapping until, it's right there. Until I find it, so I have an understanding. Yeah, not much. We finished Severance. I was fine with, I don't know. I don't have a smelling stream. I did the one and I got no feedback. I didn't tell anyone. So maybe I should have mentioned it. If you go back, you can find it. Just watch all of them with the scratch and sniff card. You can still get them at certain 7-Elevens in Wilmington, Delaware. Not all of them, but like certain ones. And if you get that and then just watch every Movie Crap Live, you'll eventually figure it out. Anyway, yeah, I finished Severance. I like it. It's cool. I don't know if it means anything. And that seems to be a sticking point when people tell me about it. But I still am more Dylan. I'm on Dylan's side. They really messed up. To me, Dylan is the A plot, and that shows just a ton of this Adam Scott guy. I don't understand. Hello, Medela Butterfly. Other than that, no one has guessed the energy drink this week, unless there was one that I missed, but I didn't see it. Trying to think what else. Before I talk about, my parents have the original scratch and stuff cards actually, but yeah, he didn't copyright it. That was what fucked him up. He could have got that Rugrats money, but I mean, he deserves it. They could have named it something else. I think they named it the same thing, right? Anyway, what did I even watch? What even happened, man? Oh, I feel like we watched Force Awakens, and that is interesting to rewatch. Very solidly directed, because it was May the 4th, and it wasn't actually my suggestion. It was everyone else wanted to watch it. I was like, okay. Yeah, it's very solidly directed. I think Abrams' biggest mistake was doing another one. And hey, Austin. But I've always felt that John Boyega should have died at the end of that. I'm always they should have just killed him off. That would have been such a good ending, and I think it even works for the trilogy, because these metaphorical deaths, there's Boyega represents what could be, and then Luke in the next one. Anyway, whatever. But it got my daughter is not as into Star Wars, and I think that helped get her more into it, which is cool. But it's a very solid, fun movie. But I don't know. That I think it's the potential of it was more fun than thinking about I don't mind the first two I really like, and then that third one, yeesh. All right. Hello, Jortunes. I mean, I don't know. I think it's a fine movie. It's just, there's certain little things, but man, Adam Driver is fucking great. Great thing. All right, I will talk about the Trump stuff. I'll just sort of get into it because it feels like I don't. You know what? I really don't have. I have some small talk stuff, but not. Like what? I watched first. What did we? We watched a bunch of stuff. I don't fucking know. It's been a crazy night. I'm just like I just want to talk about my subjects. You know. All right. I don't know if I did successfully last time do the timestamps. I don't know because I actually have a sink full of dishes, literally over here, that I need to deal with, and I think after that I'm kind of done. But I'm not sure if I'll get to it, but I did get to it last time. I did actually have the time. But what was I gonna say? The movie industry should pay Kevin James tariffs. All right, now you get to learn what is. Thank you, Floxy. What is the? This is the. It's called Update. Caffeine Evolved. The movie crap energy drink clue was hello Blacksy was something you need to do to your computer, and I thought update. Anyway, I saw it at a corner store. I was like, you know what, that'll be fun. And apparently this was $3.50. So I guess if we don't make more than $3.50 in super chats, this stream is a bomb. So I guess I thought that when I picked it up because I'm talking about box office and the centers again, and I was like, it's like I guess that's what this means. Anyway, all right. Cheers to you. I think we'll make it though. Cheers to you, Black Sea. Wait, what? It's not caffeine. Hold on. Energy without caffeine. Oh fuck. I regret this one. Update is the first and only energy drink to utilize paraxine a revolutionary new ingredient that is isolated and refined from the caffeine molecule. Well, we'll see if this works out. All right. Do you like fish tacos? Is that NFW? I do. I'm not a big fish taco, but I like all tacos. I don't think about a taco that I don't like. Anyway, cheers to you. I think I'm getting some of his papers on here. Sorry. Maybe I'll just take the tab off. This is what you really come for, watching me struggle with energy drink cans. This is like, people are like, you know, the movie stuff's good, but like when he fucks around with something stupid, that's what I really come for. All right. Ugh. Okay. All right. Any beard grooming tips? Hello, Nerdist. Get a nice wooden beard comb. Get some beard oil. And if you want to grow a beard, just go like this. And it just like pops out. For me, I don't know about y'all, but that's how this happened. I just like, you know, sometimes when you poop, you just end up with a beard. I don't know. Anyway, dozen burritos. Nice. All right. Sorry. I probably should blow my nose. In fact, I think I will. But let's beard softener. Yes, beard softener. Kind of work. I don't know. I need to probably use that more. All right. Hello, K-Master. Okay, everyone's showing up. So before we pull out but no beard, that is, I'm gonna be honest, that is a great shirt and a great band name. I would see. It's like, hi, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, Baltimore. We are I Poop a Lot, but no beard. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, you know. All right. If you want a good Star Wars movie, this is from Austin. If you want a good Star Wars movie, watch Andor. It's good. It's like 3 mini movies a week by guys, the guys when I Crow and Michael Clayton. I like Andor, from what I've seen, but the problem is they come out with 3 episodes a week. There's no way I can keep up with that. And I've always wanted to like really watch it, and at some point I would like to. I was sort of into like randomly watching Daredevil, but I would like to do that more. Anyway, we're past profitability. Yay. All right. Cheers to you, Austin. All right, so I wanted to respond to something. You know, last stream I made a lot of jokes. I mean, this segment was a joke thing, and I said something like, I need to respond to these allegations. And I think last week, obviously, it was a joke, but I think it's been a week, and I've had some time to think about it, and I really would like to respond to this. And I'm sorry, for not really saying anything, but I was at the movies, and the movie trivia came on, and they asked me how many Marvel movies was Sebastian Stan in, and they said not counting end credits, which was confusing. Anyway, I said 7, and for the first time in history, I got a movie trivia thing wrong at the theater. I know. I'm really sorry. I'm ashamed of myself. I said 7. Why? Why did I say 7? I didn't have a ton of time. I mean, what am I... Anyway, my daughter was shocked. I'm usually killing it. I stand up saying Matthew Perry. Everyone's screaming, oh, that's typically the movies for me. Most of the time they're saying, why did you just say Matthew Perry? That's weird. Doesn't matter. I got something wrong in movie trivia. I'm really... I wanted you guys to hear it from me because, I didn't want that coming out. I don't want to take down, like, this guy, he's supposed to be good at movies. Sorry, Black, that was good. And he got a movie trivia thing. Maria Menounos personally called me to tell me she was ashamed of me. And I said, how do you have my number? And she said, I'm sorry, is this Steve? And I go, no, it's Jim. And she hung up on me. Anyway, point is, I just wanted to face that head on. I didn't want to mess about. Anyway, all right, let's move on. Apparently it's 9. I was like, but here's my thing with that. How are we counting the 9? This is my real thing about it. Is I guess we count Black Panther, but in that 9, do you count the one that's just a scene from Civil War? Because to me, that really shouldn't count because it's a clip from a different movie. Anyway, that's my own. I know I'm being silly, but that's my only stipulation with this. Is like if we're counting that, I call shenanigans. I'm calling shenanigans. I believe. All right. I want to talk about first off. I know I do say this, and hey Dad, how's it going? I know I do say this sometimes, but you guys often surprise me. In the throwbacks, I showed the last. I'm not gonna do another film school short because they've all had their 20th. We're going to give it a rest unless somebody in them becomes relevant other than, and this is, I'm not joking with you. I don't know if you know the guy, Walter Masterson. I did actually make a short starring him. I think it's on Daily Motion now. So I could, it had a lot of copyrighted music, so I can't put it on YouTube, but he is my one, he was like the biggest person to come out of anime stuff. Anyway, but yeah, I was surprised by, what's it called? The Watcher did really well. It had its best day ever in the 15 years it's been on YouTube. It didn't really get a lot of love on GleeSpheres.com. It only played a few screenings, so it literally on Monday, more people watched that short than I've ever watched it ever. So I want to give you guys props because I was kind of surprised. I was like, this is like the least the least watched of all my of that period and all this stuff. So yeah, you surprised me. So thanks, guys. That was cool. I was like, oh, okay. I really didn't think it was gonna do what it did. So, but it literally had it. I mean, it's not. Its previous best day was 8, so we're not a high bar to clear, but still, you did it, and that's amazing. And to my knowledge, it was the most attention that short's ever gotten in a day in its history. Next, the other throwback is going to be Jim Cotta. Because it has been whatever 40 years, I guess, since 85 when it came out. So my review of Jim Cotta, and that will be out tomorrow. I'm noticing people really like my shorts of when I see movies and go on these little, go have lunch and all this stuff. So I guess I'll keep doing them because I was kind of surprised how many people like those. But I have a Thunderbolts. I actually keep saying Thunderbirds by accident. Like anyway, so anyway, I'll have another one of those. I don't think I'm seeing a movie in theaters next week, so I don't know. I guess I'll keep doing them. People seem to. I didn't expect that. It was just sort of like, oh, this would be nice because I liked eating lunch out there and stuff. But what's going on with all that? So hold on, will this mess anything up? Sorry. Okay, sorry. There's a weird thing with this. It's okay. I just had to hit refresh and it made me nervous. Did you yourself checked about that? What? What did you mean? Did you get yourself checked? About seeing movies? I'm not sure. Anyway, what was I saying here? Yeah, so surprised by that, and I hope you liked all their. Oh, that's like my wife's watching TV. Sorry about that. What was I gonna say? I forgot. Anyway, there'll be. Oh yeah, I hope you like the Doors thing, the oh my god, yes, and the Ginger Root movie. Anyway, moving on. Let's get into this. All right, so Thunderbolts, Thunderbirds thing. I just keep doing it. I noticed today I needed to search something on the Thunderbolts for the show, and I typed in Thunderbirds, and I was like, fuck. I did it to myself. All right, so this. And I think that comes out for me next week. I'm excited for that, though. Okay, this and everything I do is spurred by you, the fans, either through super chats during the show, which help me wake up with paroxetine, or you can donate to or you can become a part of my Patreon. It is has all sorts of cool stuff, exclusive things. There'll be a Watcher commentary throwback that I'll post on Sunday. There is my commentary series, which is a Patreon exclusive for paying patrons. You get access to my public access show movie stuff, and you get more involvement. You get postcards, and if you are a patron, my postcards will come out next week. Sorry, it's been a little bit, and. It helps me be able to do what I do, helps me continue to do the show, helps me publicize the show, helps me, if I need to get new equipment and stuff like that, I will definitely be relying on Patreon. And if you want more power in the movie review vote and everything like that, it is always there. The link is in the description down below. But if you do give me money for Super Chat, I will answer your question, give me some more energy for whenever that is, and, keep the show going. And I will definitely see you because it'll be lit up and stuff, and I'll 100% remember your super chat. Anyway, but if you are this is of course if you're financially able to. If you're not, just like this video, subscribe, turn on notifications if you want to know when I do instant premieres and stuff like that, if that is something you are interested in. If not, or if you don't even have a YouTube account, you just sort of like watching this channel randomly sometimes, thank you very much for doing so. I very much appreciate it. Also, we have the Discord with run by an amazing team of mods, being Austin, Zane Powers, Ryan Walterson, and Cornbread, who do a great job. They do a movie watch every week. So you can do that this week. They have a general where I ask them about what they want me to talk about in the show. They have licensed playing card channel, which I need to post these Star Wars cards. Should I have posted them on May 4th, like I promised? Yes, and I didn't. The Phantom Toll Booth. That's interesting. And happy birthday, Purple Goop, on whenever you're doing that. Anyway, has all sorts of cool stuff, whole interactivity. This is a great community. I got 2 compliments on y'all as a community this week, so it sounds to me like everyone thinks I agree that there's a great community here. And if you like this community, you can hang out on the Discord. Wonderful things. They do daily questions, there's movie discussions, animation, video games. Apparently, all that stuff is happening right there. Yeah. All right. So, basically how the show, obviously I have to talk about some politics because that is one of the bigger movie news things this week. Happy birthday to, hey, at midnight, someone remind me at midnight, and we'll all sing happy birthday, Purple Goop. I'm going to do kind of all the Marvel stuff together because I didn't want to keep coming back to it. That's weird. I do have to talk about the Trump stuff. I might try to do timestamps later because if you don't want to deal with that, you can skip it. But apologies if I don't get to it. But that's sort of how it's going to work. Just so you know. All right, so the Thunderbolts. I actually saw this on Monday night, and I did not get the ending spoiled for me. However, Marvel themselves decided to reveal the ending, which is when they reveal that they're actually... It's not really a big reveal, it's stupid, but that they're not the Thunderbolts, they're the new Avengers. Actually, I'll talk about box office after this, because it's sort of... I want to get all my Marvel stuff out of the way. It's a big Marvel night, including the X-Men stuff. But they decided to put up posters. There's the thing of Sebastian Stan like covering the other Thunderbolts posters with new Avengers posters. They seem to think this is an amazing, great, wonderful marketing plan, and they're super into it, and you can't stop them from being super into it. I don't think it's that big of a spoiler, to be honest, because like it doesn't really change like the arc of the film. It's not like, oh, you found out the deal with Century, which would be an actual spoiler. This is just sort of like some bullshit they threw at the end. I'm also like, I don't think it works as well as like what they're trying to do with the new Avengers thing. To me, echoes what happened at the beginning of Infinity War, where the Avengers are broken up and have to get back together, and this is like, seems like a really badly set up situation with like two Avengers teams and stuff. It's also weird that the two post-credit scenes so far this year are sort of have to do with each other. I don't know. I find it to be a super strange situation. And a lot about the Thunderbolts and how it's received is odd to me. I'm hoping that my next video will be the review of Thunderbolts. So this is kind of hard to talk about it without like going into my opinion, but I just felt like it was like not the greatest marketing plan. And it was also like, I heard a lot of people go like, why didn't you just call it that though? I don't understand. Like, do they think that like, oh, they'll have a second weekend drop, won't be as much because of the new Avengers thing? But it was also like, why did you do it on a Monday and not like closer to the weekend? It seems like more questions of them doing that. And I don't think it really worked out as well as I think everyone thought it would, to be honest with you. It's just, I think it was a mistake. However, Bob Iger, this is true, is super loves the Thunderbolts. He says this is the direction they need to be taking. Like, they need to be making less stuff, even though they're putting out 3 movies a year and several shows. And I was like, I don't know if that's like toning it down really, but okay. I mean, we've had like 2 Marvel shows this year already. We have Ironheart. You know, it's like, you still have a lot of shit, but whatever. He seems to like that. As well as Bob Iger is super set on the slate coming up. He says it's as strong as 2019. 2019 was the year, I think, like all of the top 10 were Disney movies, and the only one that wasn't was a Spider-Man movie they also get money from. But he's very excited for, he mentioned them all by name. I said Fantastic Four First Steps, Pixar's Leo, as well as Tron Ares, Zootopia 2, and Avatar 3. I mean, who wouldn't be? If you were running a studio, you would love to be. And he really likes Lilo and Stitch. His words were, they're saying it's going to make 120 its opening weekend, but his words were about Lilo and Stitch. I can imagine, because he's a dumbass. He has seen it several times, by choice, I'm assuming. But yes, he's very much hyping this up, and he's using Marvel and the Thunderbolts. I will get to the X-Men stuff. I'm just, anyway. It plays this kind of desperate, although they do have a good slate, and I understand, and next year they have a new Avengers movie, the Mandalorian movie, another Toy Story, and the live action Moana. I think they're I think they're very hyped for what is going to happen. We'll see if it does. But I find the whole thing to be, I don't know. It's like, you don't need to say the 2019 thing. I know it was his big, it was his big idea to have this insane year and then leave, and I don't think he thought he would come back, and I think he wants to do that again, but I just don't see it being as crazy as he does. And I do think this Thunderbolts thing, like, it seems like they're really pushing, like, we're really proud of Thunderbolts, which is like you should be, but I don't know. We'll see about that. But he's very hyping up what is going on here. I think what I'm gonna do. Sorry, I think I'm going to talk about the box office, and then we'll come back to the X-Men thing because it sort of relates to Thunderbolts, and I wanted to. The only other Marvel thing is the Avengers kind of Doomsday cast list came out, and it has like Charlize Theron, it has all these people. Who knows if that's true? But a lot of people said that even with Endgame and Infinity War, they were negotiating deals up to the deadline and stuff. So that might have been true at one point. It might be true later, but it's not. Who the fuck knows? I don't know. But it was interesting seeing Charlize Theron's in there and like Benedict Cumberbatch and all those people. But I'm also like, it just seems like it's going to be a little crazy. But no Taskmaster. I don't know what that's about. I don't know. I fell asleep during that movie, so I'm not sure. Anyway, all right. I'm going to talk about I know we've been talking about box office earlier, but I think it is worth talking about it today because one thing I noticed about the box office for Thunderbolts is it used to be when I've watched the box office of other comic book movies, they would bring up that, oh, well, comic book movies, this is based on this kind of comic and it's this popular, and it's like a Spider-Man movie obviously going to do really well. And I noticed with Thunderbolts, they compare it to other Marvel movies, which fair, but won't bring up, the Thunderbolts is not a concept most people know. And I think that I was just surprised. I heard a couple box office people mention it. They're like, Thunderbolts isn't the most well-known comic. And as much as, comic book movies just in general make money, I think it just seemed like a weird way to cover it. Not that it's like it was hurting. It opened to 74 million, which is still very good, but I mean, it's not astounding because I think it cost 180 is what they're saying. But I do think it kind of, I was just surprised that more people didn't go, oh, well, it wasn't that popular and all that stuff. And, or it's based on a thing most people are unaware of. And, there's a new concept from like most of the time, this is like the first time they got to, most people are familiar with it. The only problems with this is it's not a breakout. Really, it opened below Captain America 4. It had a similar opening to Eternals and things like that. But I don't know if it didn't break out as much, but I didn't appreciate that. I thought it should have been covered. Like, this is an obscure comic to most people. They hadn't heard of it, starring B-list characters. And, like, in that it is amazing, but I guess we'll see how word of mouth is, which is good. And we'll see if that new Avengers thing... Like, I'm very curious what the drop is going to be for this movie, especially because it doesn't have real competition. Sort of Final Destination, but honestly, I think it'll probably play well until the Mission Impossible, which has a terrible marketing campaign, by the way. What is going on? It's just like Tom Cruise's face and him on a plane and shit. Like, I was kind of confused what they're doing there. But I think it'll be at least in the top 3 up until then. So, since we are talking about the box office, we always got to talk about Sinners, and Sinners had one of the best third weekends in a row. It dropped 20. Actually, this is the actuals at this point. The 27.6%, which is insane for a third weekend. The other thing about this is they lost all of their IMAX screens, so they're still making its per screen average is 9,000, which is bigger than anything in the top 10 that's not Thunderbolts. But it also is playing in less screens, but it's playing in less screens with upcharges. So the fact that it was able to do that without the IMAX and not have a significant drop is pretty insane. The thing with this Sinners now, I've noticed a lot of people keep going like, well, with his dollar gross and with this, it's not a hit. It's not. And I'm like, okay, what? I understand. The problem with box office reporting is that if I say something open to this, it's based on budget. It's not just based on everything. However, what this dumb bullshit is with this movie, I will never understand. So Dan Murrell, whatever, did a breakdown of it financially, and he does do that sometimes. And it sort of a little bit of like, okay, you guys are going to discuss this, so I'll go through it. And he did go through it, and his estimation was that it needs to make about like, I think it was about 30 million more to be considered a financial success. Basically, he really broke down, and he did mention he did one for Oppenheimer, and in Oppenheimer he knew what Nolan's first dollar gross percentage was. He mentioned that no one actually knows, or I think he said 17, and I'm saying 30 because we don't know his first dollar gross. And supposedly what complicates it is that Coogler gave back some of that because the budget got bigger, and that's usually what directors do, and he gave back some of that percentage, so we don't actually know we don't know what that percentage is. So like people throwing these wild numbers out, they don't know. And I thought he did a good job because he basically was like, all right, bitches, you want to complain about this? Here is the deal. And he broke it down very well. And to me, it's like, we need to stop this because like you come up with every exception to accepting that this movie is a major thing. Like, I don't understand everyone's dumb bullshit with this. I still see more people posting about Sinners by Wednesday than Thunderbolts. All right. It's like, just let it go. It's real stupid. Anyway, I just don't get what everyone's dumb shit is, but I appreciate that he, it's like, all right, I'll meet you halfway. So I appreciated him doing. I know that is a segment in his show. I'm not accusing him of anything. I'm actually accusing him of doing a cool thing and actually bringing it down. As for the IMAX thing, Dan, I saw brought that up. IMAX wants to bring it back. It is going to be brought back in the 70 millimeter IMAX screens, which aren't a lot of them. And they're talking about doing there are rumors of other IMAX re-releases throughout the year. They haven't been announced. But the problem is because that IMAX schedule is so particular. No, Sinners did not have a poor opening weekend. That is inaccurate. I'm sorry. They're saying that they're saying they want to do a come back in theaters and stuff like that. So in October, an awards thing, but IMAX apparently is very open to it because it did so well. So we'll see what happens there. The only other real box office things, like Until Dawn, again, this is like, understand how much a movie cost about like 15 or something. We're already at 14 in America, and 36 36 million. So Until Dawn is actually financially did well. It didn't make like what Sinners is making, what Thunderbolts is making. It didn't do anything like that, but based on its budget, it did do well. So I've heard people say, oh, it bombed. I'm like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. So Until Dawn was budgeted correctly and all that stuff. Let's see. Other than that, there's really not too much. Let's see. Oh, the only thing that really was surprising, where is it? Rust opened at number 31. So here's the thing with Rust. Honestly, is so supposedly I heard it actually broken down for me. Part of the lawsuit to give the victim's family money, and they did approve it opening, but part of them to get the money is they can't they can't get their money back unless they release it, apparently, because of the way the finances are worked out. So it actually is helping the family. Oh, Pavements? Is that the Pavement movie? Oh, it is. It came out. I didn't know that. All right. Anyway, sorry. But yeah, Rust did come out, made $25,000. A lot of people don't think it was worth it. I didn't know Pavements. Man, that is an interesting movie that's got no attention. Other than that, I know The Amateur's doing better than people thought. The Accountant 2 did not hold well at all. And the Minecraft movie, I think, might get close. People are saying won't get to a billion, but will do pretty good. As for Thunderbolts, in my mind, right now it's doing fine. I would not call it a bomb. I think people are too quick to do that. I understand a lot of people say that Sinners is not a bomb at all, especially when you consider VOD numbers, other countries it has to open in, obviously other IMAX re-releases. We're talking about maybe worldwide. There's talk of Sinners making upwards of 400 million. So I do not think people saying, I don't know what people's deal is with Sinners. I think it's just an original movie, and obviously people. I was gonna say are weird about black people. Well, it's just like people are racist and need to figure that shit out. But I think it's a great movie. It's doing well. It's good for the industry that we have an original movie doing there. This is a good thing. Treat it like a good thing. I understand. I don't get everyone's like thing with it. I think it's just. I think people are just need to nitpick things sometimes, and I don't think they get the point they're like. What point are you making ultimately? Like, I would be more interested. Like, go over Thunderbolts would make more sense to me because it costs like 180, and that's just what we know and all this stuff. But whatever. All right, is that all? Okay, so let's. I'm bouncing. Right. You don't have the script. You don't know, but I'm telling you. All right, so tonight we learned that there is a director being considered to direct Marvel's X-Men movie, and that is the director of the Thunderbolts, Jake Schreier, I guess, who is also part of the same collective as the guy who does the Spider-Man movies. They're all part of Waverly Films, which I didn't actually know. Oh, I'm getting Mission Impossible out of it. Is it because I talked about it? Oh, because of managing stress and Tom Cruise involved? Anyway, sorry. My thing with this. I guess you're gonna get some of my feelings on Thunderbolts before I put out that review. So this did not. I guess there's no real way I can hide it anymore. I understand from this article he has said he is a fan of the comics. He's a big fan of the comics, and that he told Marvel people that he wanted to do it, and apparently he was easy to work with, to my understanding, and that Marvel likes to stay in-house. If it was me, I would have actually gone with the Duffer Brothers. I know people wanted Coogler to do it. I don't think Marvel would give. I think they would love to give him another franchise. But thank you, Chan Talks More Movies. Chill, cool. Let's see if this thing works. Cheers to you, man. Thank you. I will say my energy level is not depleted. So if anything, who's the other John Green person in Blood Team? I'm curious. I just don't think this is a good choice. I'm sorry. Like, I think Marvel used to pick people outside. No, they're very much about like, oh, you did a show, now you do a movie, now you do a thing, and that's the way Marvel works now. I just don't. I think he could make a decent X-Men movie, but I don't want just a decent. I mean, honestly, the track record of those movies aren't great, so I should just be happy for just a decent one. But in my mind, I would much rather have a director who can really like make it sing, and like I think he could maybe do it, but oh right, the New Mutants. Thanks, I should have got that ability. I think it's sort of a mistake. I don't really love this idea. I don't hate Thunderbolts. I sort of liked it, maybe not as much as most people, but I do think he's not the greatest choice, and I'm not excited about this, and I am excited about an X-Men movie. I do think like having an X-Men fan sort of helps. If you look at something like X-Men 97, okay, I'll answer your thing because you messed. It's okay. If we will see fewer foreign films because of the Trump thing, I will get to that part, but I'll just say possibly for now. I'm not into this at all. Anything I've read about it is like he just sounds like a Marvel director, and I think the thing about Marvel is it worked better when there was more of a um, give and take. You know, when you had like a James Gunn or you had like John Watts, someone who comes from a background outside of it, and I just don't see that with this guy. I just don't. I would like when I saw it, I was like, just sounds pretty boring. Like they're like, well, this guy works, and okay, I guess he does, but I just didn't find it to be that interesting. I thought it was kind of fucking boring. Oh yeah, I should say if we get to, I forgot to say it. I need to get better at this. This is a new thing. If we get to once we pass $20 of super chats, I will have it go all crazy with the lights and stuff. And every time we cross another $20 multiple, I guess like 20, 40, so I'll do it again. Sorry. So if you didn't know that, I do that. But yeah, I found this news disappointing. I just don't think it's exciting. I think X-Men's a really big movie. I would get somebody who you're like, oh my god. And I think like someone like the Duffer Brothers, I thought would have been good. I think Coogler's a bit of a pie in the sky thing, but I don't know who else I would get outside of those people. I'm trying to think who you would get, but it's just like I don't know. I found that to be. I wasn't impressed. I was sort of like, I mean, I'm sure he'll make a solid movie, but like, I really want, it just, I don't know. I did find it a little like, oh, I mean, was he just around the office and you picked him? Like, it didn't really make sense to me. The other X-Men news is Ryan Reynolds has been talking about doing sort of an X-Men team up. Oh, thank you very much. Yellow, thank you for the. I like that little pound. I can't heart it, but let me just. I touched my screen. I don't know what that does. Cheers to you, Yellow. I like the little cartoon guy. But for the next Deadpool movie, because Ryan Reynolds does have a thing about Deadpool movies that he will not make. Ben Stiller directing X-Men after Severance, I'm not as against. I don't think that's a amazing idea, but Ryan Reynolds wanting to do a sort of X-Men team up. We don't know what characters he wants to do, but yeah, he has this thing where he doesn't want any Deadpool movie to be the same thing. He doesn't want to repeat himself. I will say I'm not the biggest Deadpool fan. I do not think those three movies are identical. 1 and 2 are similar, but they're not the same film, and I think that's. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but I think that's a good idea. It depends on the team, but to me, it's like if I was gonna do another. If he was going to do another, I didn't do anything with Deadpool, but if you're going to, I would just do a cool like mercenary thing. They go in. Oh, Jeremy Saulnier. Oh, damn, that would be good. That would be good. That would be good. But you just have him do a missionary thing. But I also think he's sort of looking at like, I don't know where he stands with the public with that Blake Lively thing, because I know it seemed like he was really affected by it and like industry wise and stuff, so I think he might just be like, let me just keep this franchise going because it made $1 billion. We also don't know what, like in that cast list, I did not see his name in there, so I'm curious if he will be in other things, but I don't know, we'll see what's going on with that. I don't know, it seemed to me like he's developing shit and he shouldn't have said that until he knew what he was doing, you know what I mean? Anyway. All right. I have a few things, and we'll talk about the Trump thing. But this one trailer today dropped, and I gotta say I was impressed. This movie, The Materialist, which I know is maybe not demo-wise what y'all are into, but it's sort of this romantic drama with Dakota Johnson, Chris Evans, Pedro Pascal, directed by Celine Song. And I liked her last film, Past Lives, and I'm curious about this because it's sort of a big studio thing. But the trailer is like, had a voiceover in it, and I was like, holy shit, this is like the 90s, this is like 2000s, where's Kate Hudson? And he's like explaining the plot. I was like, this is amazing. I love it. It was like, and then like The Material Girl, which it was sort of just a new version, not a slowed down one, fit really well. I was like, it was maybe one of the best trailers I've seen for kind of a romance movie in a while. I was very impressed. I was like, this is the shit. This is what I need. Movies are really back. Like, bring the narration back. I hate the, like, let's do a slow version or whatever stupid song, or like, let's have this pop song. That gets, like, dull. I want voiceovers. In fact, I want get a celebrity voiceover. Get some, I don't know. We don't have a voiceover guy. This is the thing. You used to have like 3 or 4 of them, and you go, oh, that guy. And you wouldn't know their name, but you know their voice. And this was like, I did like, though, he sounded like that was his 10th job of the day. Like, no, the true voiceover guys have to sound like they've done 3 toothpaste commercials for radio, 4 ads for a local car dealership, and then they got the big job of doing a movie trailer, and then afterwards they got to do a Toyota commercial or something. Like it sounded like that. Like, excellent job of being professionally competent, but sort of not giving a shit at the same time. But man, I will say I was like, that is an amazing trailer there. I was like, wow, you did it. You really made like what the perfect trailer for this kind of movie. Fucking awesome. I give it props. All right. We learned this week that the Golden Globes are going to make a Best Podcast Award, although I did make the very obvious, haha, they didn't do it when Pizza Party was around because they were scared of us. But the problem with this is, the thing I don't like about the modern podcast. Hey, Sinram's here. The problem I have with the modern podcast thing is, like, I don't really listen to like these massive podcast people. Like, sometimes I see clips and they're interesting and stuff, but like, supposedly how they're going to do this award is they're going to feature 6 nominees chosen from among the 25 most listened to podcasts that have significant impact over the past year. But to me, it's like, you shouldn't be picking like the top 25 most listened to. I just don't think that really makes sense. Jortunes says, are you a fan of the other comedian Jim Gaffigan? I think he's a cool guy. He's a good actor. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but I don't have anything against him. I know he does very well for himself, and good for him. And cheers to you, Jortunes. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think this is a bullshit thing. I think it was dumb anyway, because I don't think I really don't think this really makes sense for the Golden Globes. I think it's sort of a stupid thing. I don't really understand what we're doing with it. Sorry, let me move everybody up a bit. I want to make sure you see everybody. There we go. I just think it's just like, this is a dumbass way to do it. Like, you're not even really doing it. I don't understand the point of it. Anyway, there was in good news. There's apparently a Shaun the Sheep, a third feature film from Shaun the Sheep. I like both the Shaun the Sheep movies. I noticed that is their big thing with Aardman now, is they're making new sequels to everything, but it makes sense because Shaun the Sheep's a little newer and everything like that. This is a relationship they're having with Studio Canal for this. This is what they said about the plot. Shaun the Sheep, the beasts of Mossy Bottom, sees the residents of Mossy Bottom Farm looking forward to Halloween until the clumsy farmer trashes the flock's beloved pumpkin patch. Reads a synopsis. What? Oh. Pumpkin patch. When Shaun turns mad scientist to fix the problem, things rapidly spiral out of control when the farmer missing. With the farmer missing and a wild beast roaming the woods of Mossingham, all the ingredients are in place for a monstrously fun family watch. I don't think there is a release date, maybe. But I am super hyped for this. I love those movies a lot. I think this will be wonderful. A Halloween Shaun the Sheep sounds like a great idea. There isn't really they're just gearing up for it. But hey, it's announced. I'm glad Armin's still doing it. I liked the Wallace and Gromit stuff. Worked out really well. recently, the new one. So I hope it's similar to that. I know. I'll tell you about this one thing, and then we'll talk about the Trump stuff. Um, previously kind of had a thing with the Chris Stuckman movie. This is something here reporting. It is not me throwing shade. I want to be clear about that. But it's something I'm hearing, and I sort of agree, but not really. So there's been this thing about his movie, Chris Stuckman's movie, Shelby Oaks, possibly being moved off the calendar or moved to a different date because, as we've all kind of realized, there isn't a trailer for it. And a lot of people thought when The Monkey came out, it was going to have his trailer with it, and it didn't. And no one's sure what's going on. And I know major thing with movie pundits have been like, what's going on with it? So there does seem to be some like actual doubt going on. I usually go by the Box Office Mojo calendar because I don't know why. And it wasn't listed where it's supposed to be, and I didn't find it. I didn't search for it though. And I've heard some release calendars do and don't have it, but it's like an A24 horror movie, and I've noticed sometimes their stuff doesn't get on those calendars, so like super late. So it might actually be like just the information isn't on there because they don't like YouTube people think it's a big movie, but I think most people like I'm not being a dick here, but like probably don't see it that way. So maybe it's that, and I think it's just a miscommunication. However, I will agree, we're 2 months out, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, there has not been a trailer release. So it's sort of like everyone just speculating there's usually an announcement. I think that will happen soon. Or we'll actually get a trailer, but I think at this point, if they're putting out a trailer now, that's not a great sign, to be honest with you. It's A24. It's Neon. I'm sorry, but I've seen that with Neon too. I apologize for saying A24. Thank you. But anyway, it's still, there is some doubt on it, but there's no announcement. So in my mind, it's like people talking shit. It is weird it's not on the calendars, but I think it's maybe movie people care about this thing, and theaters and all those things are like, what that thing? That you care about this thing? I mean, we're going to put it out, but like, so I just think it's a miscommunication kind of thing. But I do think the promotional campaign not starting up for a movie that comes out July 20th is not great. So I don't know. We'll see what happens to Shelby Oaks. But like we've seen the Toxic Avenger trailer, and that comes out at the end of August. You know what I'm saying? Or like there's other trailers I'm talking about that come out in August, September that I saw today. So I'm not sure. Maybe they're moving it back to October because Embletti said it's scheduled for the Philippines in October. But we'll see about Shelby Oaks, what's going on with it. But I do think we'll get some sort of announcement. I think they should put out a trailer. Maybe the trailer's with Final Destination, and then we'll get the new date and all that. And they just found a better date. I'm not saying it's good or bad. That's just what's going on. I heard this thing. And I was like, that is odd. And when I looked into it, I go, that is true, but it's not an announcement. And a lot of those calendar things, like theater chains and stuff, they're really just concerned about what's going to be number one at the box office. Those lower things, unless they're selling out their screens, they're like, oh yeah, I'll put it in there, I guess. So I think it's an untested thing. That's usually their attitude about that stuff. So we'll see. All right, so now we will talk about both Trump. Why do you have cards? Because I always have playing cards. I'm a weird person. Now we will talk about the Trump movie tariffs thing. So on Sunday night, he released this long Truth Social thing about how the film industry is dying, and they're going to put movie tariffs on movies shot in other countries and 100% tariff and stuff. But he didn't really mention how that would work, and the fact that legally you actually can't put a tariff on intellectual property like that. So there's a lot of kind of like what is going on, and Trump has said since that he would meet with the kind of leaders of the movie industry and try to work something out. This was an idea that was, if you look at, he said he had John Voight, Mel Gibson, and Stallone, I guess, working on things to help bring more film production back to America, which I know Trump is doing it in a shitty conservative way. That is a real issue that a lot of people want more production in America, it's particularly Los Angeles, which a lot of people are for. I think they did it in the worst way possible with the tariff thing, or if that is what they're going to do, it doesn't sound like they have a plan. John Voight did write a plan. He seems to be the only one of those three Hollywood ambassadors who's doing something, but his plan was more about tax incentives and co-production company treaties with other companies, subsidies for theater owners and film production, which that sounds great. However, in the same thing, John Voight proposed an idea for a 10% base rate tax cut for film and TV, but you had to pass, this isn't a joke, an American culture test that that people who want to do it would have to meet, which to me is kind of bullshit. Presently, this is an idea. That is all it is. No one, and a lot of the companies are like, well, if you look at like the end of Thunderbolts, it's like filmed in Kansas, filmed in Australia, filmed in here, like, and how would you do that exactly? To me, like, if you're gonna do productions, just offer them the tax incentives. Like, don't like punish them. Like, that's not gonna help. And I think even the conservatives wouldn't like if suddenly, you're adding 100 million, doubling the budget of Doomsday is not going to be going on. Is not going to be good for your stuff. So, but yeah, we don't actually know, do the tariffs apply to box office revenue? Do they apply to the budget of the movie? If you shoot part of it in another country, but you're an American company, does that count? Because people often count like Lord of the Rings as an American film, but it's shot in New Zealand. So, like, I don't know. Austin says, thank you for the super chat, says he needs to go back to looking for anacondas. I agree. I was hoping someone would do an anaconda joke, and I'm glad it was you, Austin. Thank you, man. Cheers to you. Thank you for the super chat. I think if you do tax incentives, there's a couple like more bigger shitty things about this that we need to talk about. But I don't think this is good in any way. I think most of what John Voight was proposing isn't bad, except for the American culture test, which I guarantee you is not a great thing. And they don't have a whole thing with it. But then at the same time, like, the Teamsters apparently applauded this idea. No other union liked it really. But I don't think it, or like what with animated films, like, it's like, and TV wasn't included, but TV was included in what John Voight was saying. So it's like, it's very weird. Like, the whole way they did it just seems like a disorganized mess right now, which they do. I will, I don't like Trump or any of those people involved in this, but they did admit, like, okay, well, all right, well, this is just our idea, which was like, why did you say tariffs? Like, nobody said that. It was like, they gave him the info and he said tariffs. So it's like, you can't really do that to studios. And like, I don't know. And apparently, like, the thing is as much as he's like, we can't, hitting foreign films and stuff like that, Hollywood exports 3 times more than what they import from other countries. So, like, I mean, that's been always a thing about America, is our entertainment industry is so powerful and the influence of it is so powerful. Why would you fuck that up? Like, but I mean, they're really good at fucking up the economy and our culture and have real distaste for anything that I just think they're awful people. And then at the same time, are we talking about theatrical films? Are we talking about streaming? Are we talking, like, none of this has been set up at all. The people who actually worked on it sounds like they did. From what I've read, I didn't read their proposal. I read quotes in articles about their proposal, unless it was released and I didn't find it or something like that. But, the other thing, and this has been a fear, and I'm going to say this before I talk about the PBS thing, and I don't want to freak anybody out, but it is a real fear, and it's something I've thought too. And I saw FD Signifier talking about it with Hassan Piker. I'm not a big Hassan guy. I liked FD Signifier. Is that there is a major fear that they will at some point try to take away freedom of speech. And if that happens, I think America's fucked. We're already fucked, but if that happens, then it's like it's over, guys. And I think this reflects a sort of trying to find a way to get that to work in their favor, but I don't, look, they already did Roe v. Wade. They already did all this other stuff. I don't think it's an insane thing to say, but I think it's a possibility. So I think this reflects their idea of having a kind of fascistic control over our culture and our input into the world and stuff. But I think Hollywood is far too complex to sort of do that for. It's not like, sorry, I really didn't want to say that on here, and I felt really bad because I know people watch this to chill out and stuff, but I didn't want to not. If I was like, in my head, I was like, I should admit that I do feel bubblings of that, and I didn't want to lie to you guys. I want to be honest with you and tell you the honest truth of what I feel with this, and just, I do think they want a more control, and even with the PBS stuff in a little bit, but it's this is not none of this is good. I do think what I think will happen is Hollywood will put this off with him as long as fucking possible, and I think it's far too complex because like yeah, it's like, what could you just say? Okay, well, movies and theaters have to have this tariff. Okay, well, what if it's on streaming? Is that reduced? Like, there's just too many things, or like. Anyway, it's whatever. I don't think this is a good idea, but if anyone's telling you, oh, it happened, nothing has happened, that you can't actually put a tariff on a movie, anyway, so they have to figure out something, and they haven't figured that out yet. And it sounds like basically what happened on Sunday is John Voight was asked to like make a proposal after his research. He did it. And Trump just said the tariff thing. That's honestly really what happened. We have not had anything happen to the industry. If fucking stupid ass Midnight's Edge makes a video saying like, I think they've said Thunderbolts bombs because women are in it or something, and now they're going to say, oh, the tariff, which we know is happening, this year, but we don't know that. We know nothing has happened. So anyone who's trying to freak you out, you can tell them to shut the fuck up because nothing has fucking happened, all right? It's like, I've heard people say that, and I'm like, it hasn't. And that thing can't even legally work, so it's just like, fuck off. I hate when people do that shit. It's like, cool, you read a headline. Good for you. I can read a sentence, too. Don't mean I'm smart, bitch. All right, look, I've had political conversations like, did you read the article? All right, Trump and PBS. So there is basically, they are cutting funding in PBS, but there's certain things like the CPB, which it sort of is a PBS grant. That is fine. However, the Ready to Learn grant, which was going to end at the end of in October, is not going to be granted again, which nobody sort of expected that. Which definitely cuts down things like Sesame Street and a bunch of those other shows. And I'll say, as a parent, the PBS Kids app is fucking amazing. First off, it's free. I have it on Roku. Their app with all the games is amazing. They really do a lot for kids, and they're all like great educational shows. It does seem like they really want to undermine it. If you're worried about Sesame Street, like, Disney has always wanted Sesame Street. Like, sorry, this is the depressing. We'll get to like a fun DC thing after this. They do great, but I think Sesame Street would be fine. It's really those other shows that is the concern. However, shows, and this is reported, I want to emphasize that the animated shows like Carl the Collector and City Island and Acoustic Rooster have all received funding from the CB funding contributions ranging from $1 million to $3 million. So those shows, to my understanding, from what I read, are not being affected. But if you go to the PBS Kids app, there are a ton of shows. I don't want Dinosaur Train to suddenly stop or anything, although I think that show's over. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think it is nefariously evil. Like, I don't want that conservative bluey thing being on PBS or nothing. But I don't think that will... I don't know. I do feel like a lot of them don't really understand what they're doing for entertainment stuff. And a lot of those shows, like my kids like Odd Squad, that's imported. You know, there's a lot of stuff that's imported and worked on in other countries, and like they could just some of them, to my limited understanding, I do not work on any of these shows. I do not work on distribution of those shows, but they could just find somewhere else. And if well, the one part of this that I do find actually interesting, a little hiccup. This is gym theory almost, but it's a good one. Every channel has a thing called I/E. It'll be in like the corner of the thing. You have to have informational or educational programming. You have to have a certain amount of hours. Most of the time, they just air some random crap at 5 a.m. to get their FCC thing done. But if all these shows, right, they're suddenly not on PBS, and I'm a network, right, and I want to have this educational show, what is stopping me from buying up, the Cat in the Hat show or like whichever, and then making it my educational informational show, and then my network gets the acclaim, and I look great, and you know what I'm saying? It's like I was like, first I was worried, and I was like, wait a minute, there's a literal stipulation that they all could go to. Like, if I was smart about this, like, I don't think those like inspirational shows they put on Saturday mornings now are drawing that many ratings, and which they do count as. It's like, this is an already made show you could then put on your streaming channel. There are ways that this could work out. I don't know if anyone will. The networks have to do that, but I think it's horrible if it goes away. I'm hoping someone comes up with a different thing. I hope everyone's okay. Austin, I hope you're okay. But it's worrying, it's scary, and it sucks because PBS, especially PBS Kids, which he's targeting, is great. But I guess because, Sesame Street is about sharing and being inclusive, being nice to people, that is not something fascists really like. So whatever, I think they are misunderstanding that show and misunderstanding what empathy is. Anyway, all right, we're done with the Trump stuff. Sorry, I don't mean to be political or anything, but that is the world in movie stuff and entertainment and animation this week, so I can't really do anything. All right, so also, yeah, no, anyway, all right, back to actual movie news. Maybe nothing will come of any of this, except the PBS thing's not great. But the movie part, I'm hoping this all works out. I don't have a lot of faith right now. All right, so DC. What's going on in DC? We always got to do this. DC. I shouldn't be sorry. I don't know. Here's the thing. DC basically had a lot of things announced, which was stupid. As much as James Gunn was like, we'll do script first. Here's a bunch of stuff I'm announcing that doesn't have a script, which I'm like, dude, what the fuck is this? Anyway, so DC and Warner Brothers is pretty much not moving on anything that is not Superman and Supergirl, and I guess Clayface and Batman 2, which is part of the thing, but not anything that's not those. So like Booster Gold, the Waller TV show, any DC thing. Supposedly Sergeant Rock fell into this. They're just not doing anything until Superman comes out. So you will not hear any big announcements other than cancellations until that, because they are a little like, why don't we see how this is going to do before we just like announce all this stuff, which is interesting. There's all sorts of rumors like, oh, Superman's really bad, Superman's really good. No one seems to know that, but any announcement you're hearing, from my understanding, everything's on hold until Superman comes out, and then Lanterns for TV is the other one. So those are the two. We probably won't hear any TV things until Lanterns comes out, and they want to start testing the waters, and Superman is as well. So we're probably done with hearing about stuff. We might hear more projects get delayed or canceled, but that is pretty much what we're going to have until Superman comes out in July. There's no movement on this until then. So anyone telling you anything else was approved, that's not true. All right, so the Miami Vice movie. This, oh man, are we going on? God, my timing of all this is off. Because I started, Man, I made this meal and I'm just like, I'm a little like, bleh. All right, sorry. Uh, Peacemaker is coming. Peacemaker is different because it's like a fall, but to my understanding, like the newer universe thing, to my understanding at least. I don't know. I don't think Peacemaker's success or failure or whatever has anything to do with it. That's what I've read and heard. So there's a Miami Vice movie. I think I talked about it last week. Here's some updates on it that I found to be interesting. Joseph, is his name Joseph Kaczynski? Is that like really his fucking name? Because that sounds like the Unabomber. I think there was like a killer guy named. Hold on, I want to make sure. Top Gun. Is his real name like Joe Kaczynski? Am I wrong about this? Joseph Kaczynski. Okay, well, I think there's like some serial killer name. Anyway, Joseph Kaczynski is a huge director right now, mostly because of he has F1 coming out, which everyone thinks is going to be this huge thing. I do not understand car racing. I don't know. I like movies, so like I'll watch Vanishing Point. Is it like Vanishing Point? I like existentialism in my car chase movies. Like, if they ever bring back the Fast and Furious, they should just have Dom Toretto like look out into the sunset and talk about how family can't stop you from dying alone. But they wouldn't hear my pitch, but I'm telling you. Joseph Kaczynski is a big director. He did Top Gun Maverick. He has F1 coming out. He's become a major person, and almost everyone who's talked about it is saying we're either going to get huge stars like up to a DiCaprio, which is a possibility, or to newer people, and people are not actually in Hollywood are not sure which way they're going to go because he is big enough to get a major star. He's worked with Tom Cruise. He's worked with Brad Pitt, and it's all gone well, which is another thing Hollywood very much the studio system likes it. Like, you work with two stars, you worked well with them, and you made money. They're basically like Vince McMahon in that meme, and they're like, rah! Like they're very happy about that. So there's a real sense. Say hi to Daisy. What the fuck? I don't understand that. Okay. I don't. What? But I don't really know what's going on here. With that, I did learn. A bunch of people pointed out that there was a previous studios were pushing a different Miami Vice. And how about this? At the end of what I think is going to... I want to see if you guys can guess it. 3 years ago, they considered someone for Miami Vice, the Don Johnson role, very heavily. I'll give you guys a few minutes. I want to see if you can guess it. It's not a good choice. My two choices, because I've heard people go back and forth who they are. I had two different ones. One was two combos. One was... Austin Butler and Aaron Pierre, who I thought would balance each other out in terms of intensity. I think they're more similar than people want to agree, and I think they would make a good Crockett and Tubbs. My other one, and I've heard a lot of people say Zac Efron, who I do think I have seen, is it Iron Claw, let's say? He was really good in that. I do think he's ready for his big, like, dramatic coming out. I think you do Zac Efron, and I actually think, and this is probably, it's not Johnny Depp, but good call there. I actually think Zac Efron and John Boyega as Crockett and Tubbs. I think that would be the best. I don't know. That one I'm more excited about because I feel like you wouldn't expect that. But again, I will emphasize, guys, please watch the original couple episodes of Miami Vice. Really fucking good stuff. But no one's sure what's going to happen. But it sounds interesting what casting-wise could happen because no one really knows. And there is talk of like, well, you could have a DiCaprio and then have like, and if DiCaprio's there, you're already making money, so you can just have a smaller actor be the other part and have him break out. There's talk about that. There's talk about a lot of different castings. So this is actually kind of interesting, but it is a bigger studio, like a Tony Gilroy, Joseph Kaczynski movie. They're going to give like a huge budget to. So I think it's going to be interesting to see who they get. I think if I was them, I would do a big star and maybe have an up and coming person because then you're like building up a new star through it as well as doing that. I don't think we'll get Colin Farrell and Jamie Foxx. I've heard people say they'll come back. I'm like, nobody like that. Anyway, I'll tell you who it is. Apparently 3 years ago, I heard this from a couple of people online and podcasts and stuff. They wanted Chris Pratt to be Crockett, which I don't think he can. See, the thing is again, like I was saying, I do think people want a Brady Bunch the movie or 21 Jump Street, Miami Vice, and I don't think the actual Miami Vice is appropriate for that. And it's like this weird. Just because they wear 80s clothes doesn't mean it's silly. All right, let's. Okay, I keep hearing about. I didn't see the Roadhouse movie. Okay, I'm okay. I'm gonna get to everything. I think we'll be okay. So I'm imagining a 12:40 end. I'd like to do a solid 2 hours. Yeah, yuck. Yeah, I know. Chris Pratt. Oh, jeez. I wouldn't mind. You know what? Now I'm thinking of Chris's. Chris Pine could do it. Chris Pine could do it. No other Chris could do it. Chris Pine. I think Chris Pine could do Crockett. I'm holding on my Efron Boyega thing. But yeah, so Roadhouse 2, I don't get this Roadhouse thing, but it's weird because how I know Roadhouse is a thing Mike Nelson made fun of at Mystery Science Theater. So as soon as I heard Roadhouse 2, I was like, is this a bit? Like, this is like so weird to me that they remade a movie Mike Nelson from Mystery Science Theater makes fun of all the time, and then there's a sequel to it. I was like, this is very bizarre. This is very bizarre. Good night, Dan. Thank you for being here, man. The other thing is we learned Emma Mackey, I keep seeing, has been cast as the White Queen since Charlie XX was like the favorite, and then she did a screen test that supposedly didn't work out or whatever. Emma Mackey was in the Barbie movie, so it sort of makes sense. That's sort of how people worked. If she's really good, then cool, good for her. I'd much rather an actor kind of getting promoted than an already tested thing, because we need newer stars and bigger people and stuff like that. So good for her. I hope it works out. I mean, it's Greta Gerwig knows what she's doing, so I'm sure it will. All right, we have a bunch of trailers to talk about. The biggest one in my mind, other than the Materialist trailer, which I did really like that trailer, was Highest to Lowest. This is Spike Lee's remake of Kurosawa's High Low, starring Denzel Washington. This very much felt like a modern New York thing. Like seeing, this might not mean a lot to you guys who aren't from New York, but seeing Denzel in that trailer like on a modern subway car in a Spike Lee movie, I was like, wow, okay, we're doing current New York. All right. I mean, that meant something to me. I think Denzel's been in movies on modern subways, but it just, seeing in a Spike Lee movie hit different, I guess. I'm very excited for this. I'm a big Spike Lee fan. I think he's one of our great filmmakers. I like it when he actually has hit movies, because then he can keep making movies. His studio is like sort of not really, but like I've walked by it a million times, and if I saw him in real life, I would probably die of a heart attack right there. But he because that would be very starstruck, because I think he's very cool. But I'm excited for this. It looks like a cool thriller. I'm not 100% sure on it. A$AP Rocky's in it and all that. Looks like a great movie. Of all of these, that is what I'm most personally anticipated for. The other good trailer that was interesting was The Long Walk. I know there's been Nathaniel Focus said, I remember Efron was in Baywatch. It didn't go so well. That is true. It did not go well. I think everyone wanted Baywatch to work out, and it didn't. But cheers to you, Nathaniel Focus. Thank you, man. I think people wanted that to be good. Okay, but The Long Walk, I know I've heard forever people say, you know, it would be a good movie, The Long Walk, and then it never happened, and now it's finally been made. Mark Hamill's in it. Mark Hamill's really in movies again, you know, and not just Star Wars stuff, like in The Wild Robot, in this. It's like I like that Mark Hamill is in more stuff. I've liked Mark Hamill since I was a little kid. If him and Dolph Lundgren are in a movie together, I'm gonna go nuts, baby. I'm excited. If they were in a movie together, now I'm like, I should look that up, actually. That sounds like probably we should just stop making movies. We made the greatest movie with the greatest cast of all time. So anyway, it looks like interesting film. It's basically all these kids walk, and they keep walking, and then at a certain point, one of them, there's only one walking, and they make a lot of money, and then they'll just shoot people down and stuff. Anyway, it looks cool. There is a trailer for The Old Guard 2. I barely remember The Old Guard. Other than I remember these two guys who like are in it, and they're like because they've all lived for like thousands of years, and this one guy, they're like upset that he was gay, and he was like, well, you've lived this long, none of that stuff matters. And I always remember that part. I don't remember the rest of it, but it's the Old Guard 2. This time their villain is Uma Thurman. Good for her. I've been wanting her to have a huge comeback for a while. It's cool seeing her do the action stuff with Charlize. I hope people, I know people on Netflix, like their biggest movie was that Jamie Foxx movie with Cameron Diaz. And I do think a lot of Netflix people will go for a nostalgic thing like that. I'm kind of curious if we'll see more things. Like what happened with Hocus Pocus 2. I don't think Freaky Friday will open to like a huge box office number. I think it's easier to go, oh, I'll watch that reunion on your couch than it is like I gotta go out and see them mess up my favorite movie. So I don't know. I'm wondering about the Practical Magic 2 and the Freakier Friday and stuff. They'll do as well as people think because of Hocus Pocus 2. But I do think like having a nostalgia thing on Netflix has a history of working out. The other trailer was Honey Don't, which is another one from, I guess is it Ethan Coen? And I like it said a director of Fargo and No Country for Old Men. I was like, I like that. That was a funny card. I've never seen that before. A director. I really like that. It looks fun. I didn't see Drive Away Dolls. I didn't see Macbeth. Maybe I should do a When the Coen Brothers Broke Up series or something like that. I know this is the last one they're going. Their next thing is together again, but I think it's good that they did their own thing. It's interesting to see that Joel was the serious one and Ethan was the silly one. Didn't know that. And I think the one that I know you guys are all hyped for, so please calm down in the chat. Oh, hey, Weston here, how's it going? Is the Gabby's Dollhouse movie. I know you guys are hyped. I will definitely be the one taking my kids to that one. They were excited for it. Kristen Wiig is in it. They made me watch that trailer twice. But it looked fine. Gloria Estefan is her mom, I guess. And yeah, it looked like a fun movie. I don't really have, it's something I will have to see whether I like it or not. I think the kids or a kid will end up reviewing that one. I don't think I'm going to be reviewing Gabby's Dollhouse over two kids of those ages. Okay. I wanted to bring up something, and this is serious, and I don't... Oh, yeah, The Conjuring 4. Conjuring 4 looked fine. They all look... It looked like another Conjuring. We're good. All right, so this is a trailer for something you didn't hear about, but I'm hearing a lot about this particular kind of film a lot. I just wanted to have this out here to clear up something for y'all and anyone who's watching, because I've noticed we're missing a piece of this. So there's a trailer for this movie called Television Event. It is about... I think it was basically this TV movie. It was like the day after, about what if a nuclear bomb went off like in like Kansas or something. And I heard of another English film that came out in the 80s that was also about what if a nuclear bomb here and like the effects of it. I'm sure those are good things or whatever. Oh man, I was about to say, I gotta read this. All right, Austin says, I showed the Gabby Dollhouse trailer to my friend. You better review, and can you explain the lore of Gabby Dollhouse? I was about to be really serious that you're like, explain Gabby's Dollhouse lore now. There's not really lore, there's just a bunch of them, and yeah, anyway, cheers to you, Austin. Thank you. I don't think that was intentional, but I love that I was about to talk about nuclear stuff, and you're like, explain Gabby's Dollhouse lore, like your Gabby Wiki. A+ job, dude. I love it. Okay, let me finish. You're not. Don't feel bad. That was funny. There isn't really more to it. Okay. Didn't expect that. All right, so Television Event is the trailer that kind of inspired this little mini... no, you're good. You're good, Austin. Thing is about a TV movie. I think it's called The Day After. And someone put Threads is another one that I've noticed keeps going viral. Here's the thing about all that. I'm sure those are good movies. The thing is this guy, Peter Watkins, who's a great documentary director and a great filmmaker, and he made a film that I reviewed before called Punishment Park, which I stupidly decided to work on right after Trump was elected the first time. And it was not a great mental health decision, Probably why I cried while I watched Arrival. However, that doesn't matter. He makes really interesting films, and one of them is called The War Game. The War Game is where all these films came from, and all those do for more sensational kind of things, The War Game doesn't. It basically shows you the hard and honest truth of what would happen to everyone if a nuclear bomb went off. This is in England, and it plays it like it actually happened, like an actual documentary. It is a very hard watch. I've only done it a few times because like I'd like to not be that depressed. When they played it in film school actually, and the teacher just gave these things to the sub, and he said, "Don't play this first," and the guy did anyway, and he actually like apologized and like was like, I wanted to like have a discussion, and I asked them to, and they didn't, and because it was like we're all seeing majorly, it's like majorly traumatizing, like to a degree. Peter Watkins is a very smart filmmaker, and Punishment Park is literally, I won't get into the plot of that. Sorry if I'm getting serious, but I wanted to actually say, like, Punishment Park is about a real thing, a real U.S. government law and the extremes that it can legally be taken to, and which is like shocking and scary, and that law is still there all these years later, and that was in the late 60s. He is a really interesting, fascinatingly smart filmmaker, but I will say, all these other people, I think they're trying to make good points, but in my mind, you are all poor imitations to The War Game. Peter Watkins is the OG of all this. I get that they are also trying to do that. I'm not trying to say they shouldn't have a voice or something like that. But if it was me, I would just do The War Game because that was there. That was there to pull no punches. It is not there to soften the blow of that. It's to be like, this is how horrible it is, and fucking deal with it. And I always respected that film. But even when I looked up the Threads movie, I think on Wikipedia it said majorly influenced by The War Game, and like all of these movies have majorly influenced by The War Game, and I'm like, yeah, of course you are. Anyway, we are at the goal, but I'm not gonna. I was gonna do it after this part. Sorry. But anyway, I just wanted to say that because it's been bugging me, and several people asked me about Threads. And like, we heard of this crazy movie? I'm like, actually, I've heard of a crazier movie, and no, fuck you. Also, I will say that the English have better nuclear movies that will fuck you up. No other country is touching that record with those guys. Just saying. All right, I believe we need happy lights. Okay, sorry. I didn't mean to fuck you guys up. All right, everyone's like, put on something happy. You talked about Trump and... All right, are we good? All right, we'll do the happy lights. This is the last story. Supposedly Max has purged about 200 episodes, 200 seasons of television, but to my understanding, it's mostly Food Network. It was like they basically took out all the Discovery stuff, things like Fixer Upper, stuff like that. So they're basically pulling a lot of stuff like Kate Castle Impossible, stuff like that is pulling. So if you've seen that, I didn't see anything that was listed as a cartoon show. I didn't see anything that was listed that was not a Discovery HGTV thing. So if you've read that somewhere, but it seems like they pulled things like the Guy Fieri stuff and stuff, but it's super weird because they merged, and that's why we have Zaslav, and now Zaslav's like, oh, fuck this shit. I also think the problem with reality stuff, and it's something like they really did try to find a way to syndicate it, and it never really works. Like there's not a huge market for the older stuff, to my understanding. I'm not in that world, so maybe there is somewhere, and I know it works better on like the fast channels like Pluto. But I'm not surprised because it is not something it's more appointment TV, but it's not, you're not going to go back. And so I think that it sort of makes sense. All right. No more heavy stuff anymore. I apologize for doing two. I thought those are both things that needed to be said. So, I'm glad we have the happy lights now. I'm going to take a break. We'll talk about Mystery Cuddlers, which is the new show from Pendleton Ward of Adventure Time fame, which came out a while ago, and I didn't know until Norbert Daniels mentioned it on Blue Sky. I don't forget if it was a reply to me or just in general. I had not heard of it, and I do like Pendleton Ward, and I like talking about Adult Swim pilots, and I just thought, you know what, I would like to go into this one, so we will talk about that after the break. Then we'll do questions, and then that'll be it. Thank you for getting us past $20 with this weird ass update. It's not a bad drink, but I don't know. But yeah, sorry, this was the bummer one. You know, I don't know. Was this a bigger bummer one, or the ones where I'd be like, guess what's getting like the COVID ones where it was just a list of guess what's being pulled, guess what's being pushed back again. You know, so anyway, all right. Let's put on the. No, that's the wrong one. Where's the bumper? Okay, let's put on the bumper there. What did someone say? The lights make everything better. All right, I'll have the lights go for the rest of the thing. Even though it was only, how about I'll have it go when I get back. They'll still be going, but we'll stop it. Maybe I'll have them go for the review, and if we get to like maybe 30, I'll be I'll have them go again. Is that cool? I think that's cool. Anyway, I hope you guys are all doing good. I'm sorry about all the bummer shit, but we will do. Mystery Cuddlers right after this. I'm just gonna freshen up, and then we'll continue with the show. And thank you all for being here. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Hold on. I know. You want the lights back. Hold on. Let me go up here. Sorry that the segment part has become what's on Adult Swim at 3 a.m. But I guess that, I don't know, maybe next week I need to go back to Mickey Mouse. I would like to finish those I Work Mickey Mouses. Maybe this year? I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I don't know. I like doing those. So I also like, he did some Porky Pigs, and once I learned that, I should try to find them because I find that really interesting. Like, he made some Porky Pigs anyway. But yeah, we're again talking about a random thing that aired on Adult Swim. On that, Ginger Root was great. That was cool learning. It's cool. I will say it's cool learning about stuff. So I'm gonna have a little bit of this to keep me going. All right. Where? Sorry. Let me move. I have a lot of windows I gotta move over. All right. Let's talk about this and let's get this shit done. All right. So, in November, actually, a new Pembleton Ward and Jack Penda. Oh God, is it anywhere? I noticed information on the show is like in a weird. Okay, Jack Penderis, whatever. Okay, so it's between Pendleton Ward and Jack Penderis, but mainly, I guess, the headline is Pendleton Ward has a new show. This is his first, to my understanding, that's at least come out since the Midnight Gospel. Yeah, and I have noticed information in terms of cast list is not available. Like, IMDb has some of it, but not all of it. I don't understand that. But it actually stars Randall Park and Pam Grier. Yes, that Pam Grier. As the two couples. It's about a kind of retired couple, the cuddlers who like cuddling, and they go off and they like stopping criminals and stuff like that, and which I really like those two together. I like Randall Park and Pam Grier, and they as actors, and I didn't realize they would work well together, but they do work really well together. This pilot itself is about a rich jerk. I think he's literally credited as Rich Jerk, voiced by Weird Al. Yeah, Rich Jerk buys a museum and kicks everyone out and starts destroying the art. He destroys the art of this one guy who likes looking at this painting of oranges that his dead wife likes looking at. I guess we're just having this go. I should probably stop it. Sorry. Well, I'm already doing the thing. And that's over. Whatever. If you want to give a super chat, please do it before the show ends. If you wanted to. Anyway, sorry. Wait, is that Michael Winslow? Oh my God. That's who that is? Holy shit. That changes a lot for me. Okay, anyway. It is about an old guy who likes oranges. There's a lot of people who are disturbed by this rich jerk, voiced by Weird Al, taking over this art gallery, and then he is missing. The cuddlers have to go find out what happened to him. This is in a very silly animation style. It's actually done by a guy I went to college with and took classes with, and no, I think we follow each other on Instagram even. Danny Hines, who's a great animator. I haven't seen him in forever, but he did, it said character design and props. So awesome for Danny Hines. I love that he did it. This, to me, I didn't actually speak. I almost spoke to him like, what's the deal with this shit? But I didn't have the time and forgot. It very much reminds me of sort of 12-ounce mouse, but with a bit of the kind of design remind me of Midnight Gospel, and particularly hold on, the episode of Adventure Time with what was it? Sorry, it with the character Kamal played. What is that guy's name? Prismo. The Prismo episode. It reminded me sort of a Prismo kind of vibe, at least to me. And this has a great cast. It's very silly and random, which I think it doesn't feel like random. It feels like all these crazy things, like the rich jerk guy is like rich because of mustard, which is random weird thing. The couple is cuddly and sweet and nice. It reminds me sort of a mixture between the crazy style of Adventure Time and the kind of weirder arty thing of Midnight Gospel, which I think really liked. I like the idea of a retired helmet couple doing this, but also they have this awesome part, and I did not know who this was until I looked this up. I looked on the IMDb. This awesome part where the old guy who looks at the paintings does this cool sound thing, and he explains all the sounds and stuff, and I didn't realize that is Michael Winslow, who's the guy from Spaceballs who does like the voice things. He's the guy from Police Academy who did all the cool voices things with his mouth. That is that is that is really awesome that they did that. I love that they did that. That's amazing. That is amazing to do that. They also had people like Maria Bamford's in this, and Brian Posehn, who I think was also in Midnight Gospel and has been in a few things. But this is just a very nice, comfy show. You can snuggle up to a blanket. I think it's for people who snuggle blankets and smoke weed and stuff. But it is a really nice, chill show. It's very much, I think, in sort of a UPA style. The Michael Winslow's thing reminded me of someone like Gerald McBoing Boing. In terms of that, it reminds me of that more simple, purposefully simple animation style. And I thought it was actually a really cool thing, because most Adult Swim shows, I think, are a little more confrontational and try to be offensive and stuff, and this is like an adult show that's like chill and comfy. I think is like maybe what we need right now. I have no clue what's going on with this. This is just a pilot, but I really do like it and its possibilities for it. I'm not sure what its deal is, and it only aired like once. It's on their YouTube channel if you want to check it out. But I do think Mystery Cuddlers, hey, cheers to you, Medela Butterfly. Thank you, man. I love the $1 super chats. And I like that it's a different vibe. I've noticed with Pendleton Ward, both Midnight Gospel and this, it's more shows I think we might need as an audience, and less shows that I think he needs to do to be a powerful TV person, which I think is fucking awesome. He's a great creator. He's wonderful. I'm very interested in his post-Adventure Time career, because it feels like he just is interested in making cool shit. And I think like this is a really interesting grown-up, comfy, chill-out show. And I think that is something we kind of need. I hope we get more of it. I hope it is not just a pilot. Right now I know nothing about a release date. But until then, we have this like chill, comfy show about two retired detectives played by Pam Grier and Randall Park that love cuddling. And there's something very comfy and comforting about that. All right. Whoa, hello. Not sure if this is rude to self-promote, but I just had a cartoon come out. You did? Just wanted to share because I spent many movie craps over the last few years working on it, so many things. Holy shit, I didn't know that you had a cart. You do? Where is it? Weston here, message me on something and send me a link. I will retweet that shit. Even if I don't like it, I'll retweet it, because you've always been very nice to me. And thank you very much for that super chat. I guess we can just have the lights keep going, because we crossed the 30 thing too. Thank you very much, man. And that is cool. Put that in self-promo. I will put it in general tomorrow, but let me know. Can cartoons take a while? That is a major achievement. Everybody, hats off to him. Also, happy birthday, Purple Goop. Everybody sing happy birthday in the chat for Purple Goop. That's awesome. You're a cartoon. What's it about? Still, it's a fucking short. Who cares, man? Cartoons take forever. That's awesome. Westonator, be proud of yourself. That's fucking rules. That rules, man. Congratulations. Congratulations. I hope I had my own chill out stuff when I was anime. I get it, man. That's cool though. Congratulations. Cheers to you. Cheers to Purple Goop. I see it as past 12 o'clock. It is officially your birthday, at least in New York. Happy birthday. And congratulations, Westonator. That is awesome, man. Congratulations. Cheers to you. Alright. Let's get to... I've literally not looked at any of the questions, so I do not know what I'm up against, how many there are. I have no clue. No clue. Alright, so first off. Let's do Nathanophobia first. Weirdest piece of movie marketing you've seen. Weirdest piece of movie marketing. That's a good question. I almost want to say the kit, like when Chronicle was coming out, when they made drones look like people, so it looked like people were flying. That's a weird one. When I was a kid, this is one I don't. Um, this is one I still don't understand. There was this plane that would like write in the air, and I was in Baltimore, and they wrote like Con Air everywhere. And I talked to other, but I was like, why would you do that? Anyway, that's the weirdest one actually. That is, I should have wrote questions below. Sorry, it's below, but I'll get the other ones there. But yeah, I'd say that one's okay. In the middle, I'm doing Austin in the middle. He can move back down to last next week. Austin said, "Hey Jim, what a great show. I hope you're doing well and having a great week. While I write this question, which will be said be said last." Also, this is Austin asking last week. You mixed up my name. Question is, do you think Austin Powers 2 should have stuck with the title Austin Powers 2 Wrath of Khan, and what other movie sequels should have been called to The Wrath of Khan that is not Star Trek? I didn't know there. I thought they wanted to do a Bond title. And I remember Bond. Is this based on a TikTok? Cinema Singular. Oh, I should have watched it. I should have. This sounds like I should have actually. I don't want to watch it live. Is this guy? Is that a joke title though? Okay, I'll watch this guy later. That's interesting. Wrath of Khan. Well, if Madeline Kahn is in it, then absolutely. Yeah, that would be funny. And the villain is just Madeline Kahn, the actress. Maybe Star Trek Into Darkness. That would have just been confusing. That would have gone into Cinderella's question from last week. I would say I wouldn't mind if it was Too Fast, Too Furious, 2 Wrath of Khan. I wouldn't mind Texas Chainsaw 2 Wrath of Khan. Halloween 2 Wrath of Khan would be cool. I'd say that one. Those would be my ones. You know what? Actually, Aladdin 2 Return of Jafar Wrath of Khan. I would like it can have 2 subtitles in this. Yeah, Beauty and the Beast 2 Wrath of Khan. What's another one? I don't know. Anyway, all right. Sorry. I'm gonna save that. Hold on. I'm gonna put that down in my tabs there. Okay, so that way I remember it. That's why I did that. Anyway, not that you care what is down in the little mini thing there. Sinram says the original title of Death Proof was Thunderbolt. Coincidence? Seriously though, are we really supposed to take this new title seriously? Like only refer to the movie as New Avengers from now on? I like the movie, but I'm not doing that shit. I agree. It is confusing because you can't like go to the theater and buy tickets for New Avengers, but then there's the confusion, that is actually that's legitimately a great point, because how would you differentiate it? And like, what if let's say like you just came back from a trip and you're like, oh, there's a movie called New Avengers, and then you go to the theater and it's not called New Avengers. That is stupid. Holy shit, that's really hitting me. Sinram has broken the glass ceiling on the Thunderbolts name thing that I never really liked, making me realize how really stupid it is. That is, because it's not going to be on Disney Plus as the New Avengers. It's going to be Thunderbolts, right? I mean, it would be cool if like after you watched it on Disney Plus, the thing that came up like when the movie went down said New Avengers. Like that would be an interesting thing. I would actually like that, to be honest with you. Like you watch Thunderbolts, and then once you get to the end of it after the post credits thing, then it says that. I think that would be cool. I really think that would be cool. That's the only way to really do it. But yeah, God, why change the title? Like, such a weird mark. And like, why on a Monday? That's the other part I don't get. Anyway, I believe Cornbread is the first question. I'm going to try to get to everyone. Cornbread, hey Jim, great answer to Austin's question. Appreciate your political horror was kept under 30 minutes. Anyway, is it true? There's nothing a team of 6 Wilmscots can accomplish. I don't know what that is, but sure. Medela Butterfly, does your mom like Betty Boop? I maybe. I actually don't know. I'll ask her. Maybe. I mean, I think so. My kids do. So, I took my daughter to where they used to. I think I told you that. Anyway, Zane Powers, thoughts on the new pope? I don't really. I'm not religious, so I don't. It's cool that he's from Chicago. I don't. I'm just like I don't get excited about that kind of stuff. I fell asleep during conclave. Just like too boring. And I'm like, what? He had sex with some lady, so I'm supposed to hate this guy. I don't know. It didn't work on two levels. That I don't really care about office gossip like that, and I don't care about religion. So I think that not a good choice for me. Bloxy Oxenwinkle, have you seen the Ninja Cream? What? I got one the other day to make my own ice cream, and it's changed my life. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'll look into it. So no, I haven't done that. Zane Powers, thoughts on the biggest event of the past week, the Met Gala. I'll say this, I'm not sure if they're here now on Blue Sky, as I said, my biggest two issues with it were the wealth and that it's there to support an exhibit, like it's there to promote an exhibit. Actually, every Met Gala, they make a fashion exhibit, and that's what the Met Gala is there to promote. And oftentimes I notice, like, there's no coverage of the exhibit, and I'm like, well, this is the only time, like, the event is completely overshadowed by the red carpet. I understand people look at the Oscars red carpet and not watch the Oscars and stuff, but it's like the Oscars are obviously a bigger deal. But in the Met Gala, it's the reverse. However, whoever I should get this name right because they were very nice and they brought up a good point and made me reevaluate how I think about the Met Gala. And they brought up that is a fundraiser for the workers and the people that do these sort of things. It is a big charity thing, and that changed my mind on the wealth and stuff like that. Supposedly that is. Is it Nachi Heart? Yeah, they what did they say? They said the Met. Okay, yeah, it can be egregious sometimes watching, but the Met Gala serves its purpose in funding the Costume Institute. I think it means institute, and directly to the salaries of the workers and the preservation of historical garments, as it's really expensive and the arts being defunded during this time is not great. The Met themes recently have been very vague and don't match the accompanying exhibits, but the theme this year I thought was very interesting, as it celebrates the importance of black fashion, specifically black dandyism. Anyway, I do like when people actually, I do like when someone's like, actually it's this, and I thought that was really cool. But that is my thoughts on it. Actually, I felt where I don't love the wealth and all that stuff, but if it is helping things and helping restore historic pieces of art and stuff like that, I'm always for that shit. So sorry about that. Favorite behind the scenes bonus feature of a film, Nathaniel Foga. Probably Lord of the Rings, I would say, and or the M. Night Shyamalan documentary reviewed. I would say I'm gonna do Final Destination 2. And I was like, did the DVD, I'm actually curious about this, did the DVD have a behind the scenes of the wood truck scene? Like, I feel like that film came out in 2003. It definitely came out on DVD, obviously. If that did not have that, I think DVD as a format was a complete and utter failure. But anyway. Black Saxonwinkle, did you see that thing about Dora the Explorer teaching kids about Sigma? I did not understand what that was, and I'm like, I didn't call you Nathaniel Foga this time. I think last time by accident. Apologies. The fact that I can talk at all at the end of some of these days is the real miracle. Not plausible. With the new pope, a new schism in Catholicism has appeared. A pizza schism. Deep dish for Italian, where do you stand? Look, I don't have a problem with deep dish. I'm going to be honest with that. I like deep dish. But deep dish and regular pizza are different things. Deep dish is like a lasagna or some shit. I have no problem with that. But if I'm getting a pizza and I got to do the fold and all that stuff, deep dish can't do that. So I think as a regular pizza, I like normal, Brooklyn kind of pizza. But I have nothing against deep dish. A lot of New Yorkers do. I like deep dish. But let's be real. When you think of pizza, you mean thinking of deep dish. Even those people from Chicago know I'm right about that. Yellow, Jim, with the Ren and Stimpy documentary out, does this mean the Ren and Stimpy pitch story isn't true at all. I didn't even hear it mentioned. Oh, that he went crazy and stuff. I mean, it was always a story that went from person to person, so it's highly possible that's like and people really loved John Kay until everything started to come out. So I wouldn't be shocked if that turned out to not be true, because that was more legend than nobody had like a recording of it. Zane Powers, thoughts on the Irate Gamer famous OG AVGN knockoff officially being retired? I didn't know about that. I've never watched him, so my thoughts are nothing. Sorry, Zane Powers. Question, with how messy politics in the film industry is currently with China, do you think Disney might swap Mando in for Avatar 3's date this year, since Avatar has much more to lose? That is an interesting theory. I think they want, well, the real thing with this, and to be totally honest with you, is that who has more power, James Cameron or Star Wars? And I think we know the answer to that question, and I think it would be very hard to get James Cameron to move if he didn't want to. And I think if I were them, I wouldn't do that. Hold on. There is one thing I wanted to say before. I almost forgot. I will talk about it at the end. Sorry. Say Austin, not Nathaniel Foga, but Austin. First, sorry for not saying Cornbread question. I kind of forgot. I didn't know Pam Grier was retired. I didn't realize she was still acting. Did you know? I thought she was too. And I was. Oh yeah, that was one thing. I didn't mention it. Well, in the IMDb, Pam Grier and Randall Park are not listed, and I was wondering what the deal is with that. Anyway, Nathaniel Foga, favorite practical effect in a. Nathaniel Foga, favorite practical effect in a film. I think a lot of them are in Return of the Jedi, whether it's Jabba or that Death Star fight. I think those are some of my favorites. I don't love the Death Star fight itself as much, but I like the effects in it, if that makes sense. Okay. Cineram, question. Most hilariously awkward movie title, Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans. I love Bad Lieutenant. That's one of my favorite. Like, not the best Herzog, but one I love that movie. I think they're making a new one anyway, the Bad Lieutenant movies are not connected. Awkward title. I think, I want to say Break Into Electric Boogaloo, but that flows so well. Awkward title would be like, maybe like Ghostbusters Answer the Call, or when you get into the Star Wars episode, blah, blah, blah. Those are actually more awkward than people realize. I think that's it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. That is probably the best one. That kind of threw me. M Blood T says, have you seen Soderbergh's Black Bag? I thought it was one of his best. I did, and there will be there's a review that is shot, and maybe next week, I'm not sure. The West End question, is the Rizzler this generation's Shirley Temple? Sure. I haven't seen any of their videos in a while, but I saw they're at the Thunderbolts premiere, which was like, then Julia Louis-Dreyfus was throwing shade on the Rizzler? Come on, man. Poor Rizzler. Zane Powers, have you ever spoiled someone on a movie they didn't want to be spoiled on just for fun, or has that ever happened to you? I think The Sixth Sense was spoiled for me well before, because everyone was talking about it. I think Old Boy as well was. I don't think if I have, it was by accident. I think someone asked me about X-Men 2, and I stupidly said Jean Grey dies, and they're like, yeah, but doesn't she die all the time? Ratboy Mickey, Jim, please read my comic and sell promo. You know what I just realized? I will try to read it. I'm sorry about that. I could have talked about Free Comic Book Day, and I forgot. So I got a print. It's not in this room. It's in, anyway, maybe a different time. Sorry about that. I was like, what happened this weekend? I just realized. So thank you, Ratboy Mickey, for saying something. Cornbread question. So yeah, the Thunderbolts New Avengers situation leading to Doomsday is stupid, but is it stupider than we're getting an Avengers movie when the real Avengers haven't ever even met? What? Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's a little stupid. Zane Powers, miss me? Yes, I always miss you, bro. Boo, be a Conclave enjoyer. It's just like not my, it's like not even shot very well. Like, I just don't. like All the President's Men. Here's my thing with like these boring people talking movies stuff. It's like All the President's Men is very well shot and very well made, and I feel like nobody takes that example. They don't ever make anything as beautiful as that. As whatever. Favorite Chinese food options, Jortunes. I'm basic and I love a General Trust chicken combo. It's like my shit. I would love to do. Don't. Why'd you bring that up? Now I'm gonna have to do that. Ratboy Mickey. Does Ned and Wong appear in Thunderbolts? Ned, no, they don't. Someone else asked me that. I was wondering. Do people think they were? I think they're both in the Doomsday Gas. Anyway, Cornbread. So now me, Mod Cornbread, now has a vampire movie within it centers. What monster movies will the 3 other mods get? I think Ryan Walterson should be in a Muppet horror movie. Austin could be in Blowout because he's a sound guy. And then Zane Powers, I'd say a slasher, but like a really gross, violent one, and people say offensive stuff in it. That's what I would say. So, what's Toby Hooper doing? I mean, he's not alive, I don't think. Is he? I don't know. Jortunes, did you watch any live-action Nick shows like Drake or Jock, Ned's The Classifieds, or earlier shows like Pete and Pete? I watched Pete and Pete. I watched some Drake and Josh, but I was kind of too old. I watched Salute Your Shorts. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Sorry, I keep hitting my table there. I apologize. Yellow, have you checked out the documentary on Chucky Child's Play movies? I have not, but I heard it was good. Zane Powers, thoughts on Trey Parker and Matt Stone consistently making fun of Hollywood celebrities when they're part of Hollywood and celebrities themselves? I have thought that too, and I'm really confused about that. Can they do a Met Gala for the rapper exhibit? They should. I mean, that would be fun. Most recent comic book series you read, Jortunes. I guess I got a Spider-Man comic. As I said to my kids, man, I should have talked about fucking Free Comic Book Day. Jesus. I said, like, if we're going to Free Comic Day, you have to buy a comic, and each of them bought a comic. And I think I've read all their comics. I haven't read a comic series in a while. I think I read Demon Bear again and stuff, so it's been a little bit. Okay, I think Ratboy Mickey's is the last question at the bottom there. The political thoughts on that. What's your favorite factoid about Parisia? I don't even know. Ratboy Mickey, no question, just nice shirt. Thank you. I'm not the biggest Courage fan. My brother-in-law gave me this, but I was like, I never wear this, and I need to watch more Courage. So, yeah, I did forget it. I mean, we had a good time. It was just hard with the 2 kids there, and I knew one of the people in the artist alley had bought their indie comic previously, so it was cool. Sorry, it's like the end of the day, so let's just do the questions. I can't remember. I should have written that down. Oh, man. You go over a script so many times, and then it's done. You're like, oh, yeah, that. Whoops. Cornbread, will there be a Rizzler cameo in Avengers Doomsday? Fuck yeah, dude. Are there any anti-film activists that have a fascinating story for you? I probably not. That sounds like a shit person. Cornbread, sure, the real Avengers team with Sam Wilson may have never met, but is it stupider than the Young Avengers? Remember them? Remember the Captain Marvel 2 after credit? Well, that wasn't Young Avengers, was it? Well, I thought it was with Beast. Did that happen in those? God, I don't fucking remember. I saw that, though. Remember the Great Lakes Avengers, Black Sox? I do. When I was a kid, I think I was fascinated by all the Avengers teams. I remember more of the West Coast Avengers, but Zane Powers, should I be a victim, killer, or survivor in the slasher movie? I mean, you'd be a survivor, I hope. All right. I thought I said, oh, you're in a, I said Blowout, the sound horror movie. Or maybe Barbarian Sound Studio. Ratboy Mickey, political thoughts on otters. I mean, they're making too many dams, but like, what else can they even offer us? All right. Oh, that was maybe dark. Okay, I think we're done here. What were you hoping for the most in Doomsday? That it opens on MF Doom's Doomsday. If it doesn't do that, I'm walking out of the theater. If it's got that Marvel I don't want to hear that. I want to hear the first track on Operation Doomsday. In fact, I want to have two MF Doom songs. There's got to be an MF Doom. I know they're like, Marvel is not You know what? I'm sorry. I don't know much about otters. All right. I don't fucking know about otters. Sorry. Um, yeah, Marvel's not good at appreciating the hip hop references of the Marvel characters. All right, I think that is it. Um, yeah, I forgot that there was a Girl Hawkeye meeting. To be honest with you, I really don't remember that at all, and I saw it with my daughter, and she still brings up that movie. I'm like, what? I sort of wow. Anyway, okay. Let's all right. Let's yeah. Maybe I should. I do watch. We do watch more nature documentaries. Maybe I should watch one on otters. The other opposite. All right. I want to thank everyone who gave super chats during the show. Let's give a shout out to Bloxy Oxenwinkle, Jortunes, Austin, Chan Talks More Movies, Yellow, Jortunes, Austin, Nathaniel Foga, Austin, Medela Butterfly, and the Westinator. Thank you very much. And please check out Westinator's cartoon. Please send that to me. Get Otter here. Nice, Super Dusky. And hello, I don't know if I did that. Said hello to you. Anyway, thank you all for being here. I think it'll probably be another Thursday. I like to do the Thursday thing. Maybe for the Thursday before Superman I won't. And I might not do a Thursday before. I would like to do a compilation Friday the 13th one. So we'll see. But I think I don't know. I shouldn't promise stuff. I'm a fucking idiot. Anyway, I need to do dishes. You need to go to bed. Let's all end this and finish this day up. Thank you all for being here. The next video I hope will be Thunderbolts. It'll be something. I've shot Thunderbolts. It'll come out soon. Leave me alone. Anyway, be nice to your moms. Oh, and sorry, before I go, not cornbread. Sinram wanted me to say RIP to James Foley, the director at Close Range. He did a lot of music videos. He sent me a long thing that I did not get to read because there's a lot going on. I will read it later, Sinram. I apologize. But I wanted to say that because I did appreciate that you sent me that and told me about that guy. Anyway, good night all. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching. I don't need to eat Chinese Jesus churches. Anyway, I'll see you all next time. Thank you for watching. Thank you for enjoying any of my other stuff. Be good to each other. And good night. And subscribe if you would like to. And I'll see you next time. All right, cool.